Today I'm going to show you how to apply a stain finish to a Dollar Tree surface. One thing about Dollar Tree surfaces, they have recently come out, and once they had all the price increases and everything else with shipping and all the things that have happened, the $1.25 and the dollar store kind of stopped being that. So they've added a premium line that they are calling Plus. And so this is a $3 plus, so it's a more expensive product. However, it is actually a wood product. It actually has wood grain, and it even comes with pre-installed hangers, which is amazing. So for $3, even the most budget-conscious person can afford to paint. So I'm going to show you how to do a stain on this wood surface, because when you have grain, the stain looks so pretty. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the stains as well. There's stuff to know. What I have is I have a Minwax stain, and it is a water-based stain. If you've ever done oil-based stain, it takes forever to dry. They're super stinky. If you don't use nitrile gloves, it will melt the gloves right off of your fingertips. So it is a very strong substance. I do love the colors. However, when I got the Minwax stains, I was shocked, absolutely shocked at how lovely these colors are. They're amazing. I can't say enough about them. They're super not cheap. I think one can of this here in Ohio, Southeast Ohio, 2023, I think I was paying $11, $12 for this. And then somebody emailed us from Kentucky and said they were $16 or $17. So that's a lot of money. However, there's a ton in here, and you don't base coat with it. So if you can find some friends that want to go in with you, you could split this by 3 easy, and then use the little honey bottles. We get these off of Amazon, and we'll leave a link. And so we pour them out into the little honey bottles, label them nicely, and that way I know exactly what colors I have, and it's so much easier than using it out of this can. But you could divide that up by 3, and then you're out $6, $7 each, something like that. Okay, so the Minwax comes with like a jillion colors. I keep this in my purse so that when I'm out and about, we don't live where they have this selection of things. You have to have the base that they mix the color into, and that's not available around here. So I have to travel about an hour to get to there. And so then I just mark the ones that I've got already, and then every time I go and I'm in a hardware store that has the base, then I'll get a couple more made, so I get more and more colors. And they are so pretty. I want them all. You just can't have one. It's like a potato chip, right? Okay, so anyway, so they have a ton to choose from as far as colors. Some are, I think, oil only, but most of those can be done in the water base. So what I did when I got my stains, this is how many I have right now. I chose primary colors, and then I chose wood colors. And so, and I have missing a stick or two, I think. Anyway, but I got a yellow, I think. Yeah, I've got yellow and orange over there too. But this is such a neat thing to do, because if you just stir it with your stick and then set your stick over someplace on a piece of plastic or something to dry, then you will know exactly what your colors are. And then because I chose primary colors, that means that I can mix them. And so I can mix my colors to make a green that's greener or bluer or purplier or whatever like that. And then on the stains, I really wanted something that read, this one is a stir stick, not a stain stick. So I wanted something that read a light color, a warm color, and then a dark kind of neutral. And so that was what I was after. So I ended up with these 4. And what's really interesting to me is the Legacy Brown. Okay, we got the Legacy Brown here. Put it on here for easier visibility. In this jar, this looks green. Like, this looks like a very organic, rusty, mossy, dark green. And over here, this looks like a very rich brown. So I don't know why that dries in that color, but it does. And then let me grab one thing. If you like anything in your house that is like a little bit brighter or lighter decor, baby's room, any of that kind of stuff, the white is amazing on a wood grain. It just does what we used to call pickling. And so it just neutralizes the wood grain and brings it into a soft, really lovely, not base coated white, and it can just add such dimension by having that wood grain just be lightened up with the white. Today I'm not going to be doing this because we're doing a hot cocoa pattern, so I want to do just a more like rich comforting kind of thing, and I don't think white lends to that, but I did want to tell you about that. Get the white for sure, and then I do recommend highly, let me tell you the colors really quick that I have. The Legacy Brown, the Cypress, and then Hedgewood would be what I would start with on those. And their numbers are Legacy Brown 1056, Hedgewood 1206, and Cypress 1866. And then we'll list the rest of these down below. But I think these would be a really good basics to start with, and then you can start adding to your collection if you decide you want them. Always shake your colors. I haven't touched this for probably 3 months, so make sure you're all shook up. Then we squirt out our color. And then we can do this a couple ways. I can, if I want heavier application, I can use our foam brush. You definitely want to get foam brushes that are of a high quality. If you're in a hardware store, you can check them. If they have good tension, they're a good foam brush. We carry 2 kinds. One is this one right here. We had the sizes of these, but this is a little bit darker color, but these are both awesome brushes. They're on our website, StudioR12.com. If I use a foam brush to apply the paint, it's going to be very strong, and it won't base coat. If you can get stain to base coat, you're doing something, like you're doing layers. But that's like maybe a little bit more work than I want to do. So then I might want to go and just get my applicator that is just a sponge, because I can really add pressure. Now I'm going to go on the back side here, and I'm going to test it. See how strong that's going to come out. So I'm wiping it on with this part, and then I'm wiping it off with that part. So when you saw me go that way, then on the back side, I just wiped it back. Now, if I wanted to, I could take my water bottle, and I could apply a little bit of water on there. And that will be sheerer. Okay, so see how that's just a little bit lighter than that one. And I think I'm gonna go with the full strength because I think I like that richness. And so, but that's a really good trick to do, is to flip it on the other side, because the wood will be consistent. And then we're just gonna go wipe straight across. Use straight lines, go with your grain. And then move quickly. Notice I went against the grain, but notice I went and wiped it back to straighten it up with my grain. So you immediately go back and wipe it and clean it up. The nice thing about a water-based stain is it dries quick. The bad thing about water-based stain is it dries quick. So it can be a blessing and a curse if you're not checking out, like slow your roll or quick your roll, whichever way we want to go with that. Okay, so now I'm getting to the end. And if I'm getting an overlap right there, sorry for that rattling, then I can just go back in and just kind of clean it up with the back of the sponge. Now, I don't know if you noticed. Let me get my edges real quick, and then I'll show you a little tricky poo. If you want to know more about painting hacks, then make sure you check out all of our playlists. We have so much information and content up there. We have hundreds and hundreds of videos to teach you all of the cool hacks that you need to know. You can benefit from my 35 years of painting experience. So I can move my board like this, and I can just kind of come into my board and give it its antiquing right with the stain. Flip it over. Need just a little squish more. Doesn't that look so rich? Like, I think it's absolutely phenomenal how wonderful stain looks on boards. Notice I'm blotting that up. I think I just picked up just a teeny bit too much. So I can offload some of that. If I wanted to rich this up just a little bit more, I could get out my black paint and then just at the very edge, give it like one step. So it's the brown step, it's the shade step, then a little bit of black step would make it even richer. What antiquing does for you is it makes your wood surface look like a frame. So it's a really good hack. It's a really nice way to bring the eye into the piece, and it's amazing. So this is water-based stain, so you can wash up with water. I'm going to just put this into my basin of water and squish it around just a little bit and get it sunk, and then I'll be right back. I know that I'm gonna make this into a hot cocoa shelf. And then my advice to you is make sure you buy yourself a spare, because you're going to put 2 nails or screws in your wall. And so this one has got kind of a wintry hot cocoa look. So you could do a second one in every day, and you could have it be your coffee station or your wine station or something like that, whatever you want to make your everyday version. And then you'll have it on the ready, and then you can just swap them out when February gets here and it's not hot cocoa season anymore. All right, so I want to line this up. I've got a pair of hooks. So we talk a lot with stencils and with crafting about doing a dry run. So this has this little piece to it, and I need to know how high up my piece is going to sit. And do I like it that low? Do I want it lower? Like, where do I want this to be? Okay, we're going to add 2 pieces of tape. We always add 2 pieces of tape, and we do it on opposite sides. Okay, gosh, that color looks so good. Gonna get out of paint. I think I'm gonna go with a cream, and then I'm just gonna show you some Stencil Basics. If you were here for the stain, if you wanna see how not to bleed under your stencil, I'm gonna show that now. So we have dome brushes. These brushes are absolutely magic brushes. They go out of stock constantly. I can't keep them in. However, they are the perfect stencil brush. Old-fashioned stencil brushes were made like this, and what happens when you hit a surface is they bend under, and that little edge right there just bleeds right underneath your stencil, and it's a terrible thing to stencil with. So what you're going to do with this is dome, and so when you push this down, you can't make it scooch out. If I lay it down, I can, but you're going to use this posture, straight up and down posture. And unfortunately, that doesn't work for that, because when you push straight down on it, it does the thing. We're gonna pick up just a little bit of paint, just tip out of my thing, and then we're gonna go on to paper towel and offload. If you're new to this technique, do at least 10. If you are one-hand painting and you're trying to hold this down and move this, if you tape your paper towel down, that is an amazing trick that we learned from our students. Okay, so now we've offloaded 10 times, and now I'm gonna swirl. And you notice this just is nice and dusty, but what's lovely, and I actually got a wrinkle in my stencil because I didn't tape it down flat. Pick up more paint. I talked it dry. Look at how well that holds down. Isn't that just worth the price of admission today, right? That is a technique to know. Okay, so I'm just going to methodically go all over, and if you're unsure, then you can peek and see that you've got good control. Another favorite technique of mine that I like to recommend is grab you a piece of cardboard. We all get boxes delivered all the time these days. Cereal boxes are the best. You cut them out so that you just have the big sides, and those make fantastic sample boards if you're testing colors, don't know what you're doing, want to try swirling. That is an amazing thing to use. And there's no ridges in it. Okay, so now because I've already gone all the way across, now all I have to do is pick up and do it one more time. It's already dry at the top. And it looks like a little bit more offload. If it starts really kind of oozing on there, you don't want that. You just want subtle. 2 or 3 quick layers is all it takes. And then fixing takes twice as long as 2 or 3 quick layers. So you don't want to be fixing. Sometimes I'll get to a skinny place, something like this little swirl, and I'll go ahead and just tap to get that. What I am noticing is I'm very close to my edge. If I ghost, which is what I call it, if I swirl and I get some on my wood, I can show you a trick to take that off. But because this is already like a pre-finished pretty board, it would be very hard to re-stain over the top. So I've got my little multi-masker insurance policy. So I can just go over there. No, I'm not going to hit anything because I've masked it. And that is why it's a multi-masker. It's masking the things so nothing gets messed up. Promise to show you how to fix a ghost. So let me intentionally ghost. Come out here and oopsie. Oh no, what do I do? Okay, so we'll peel this off and we'll notice that our stencil looks super pretty, but now I've got my ghost line. So we're gonna get into a click eraser. This is a PVC eraser that's super flexible. Your pencil erasers do not do the same thing. And then you get it wet and then you just go lightly and just wipe, you just erase it wet, and I'm gonna wipe that off. Get my paper towel. I can also, if it's fresh, just go into my water and erase it off with the water. This eraser technique has saved my bacon a million times. It is so good to have. This is also an insurance policy. Okay, so that's perfect. I love it. So now let's get out some black paint and let's spatter to finish. We're going to use the White Wonder. This is a brush that's also specific. On our website, if you are somebody that is artistic and you use brushes, not just a DIY crafter that you need a stencil brush, all of the brushes on my website have been curated by me, and I've been a professional artist for 35 years. I can't stand teaching a workshop and having the students not have a tool that works. So I have made sure that every single brush that we carry is a brush that actually works the way it's supposed to. So if you need something that's been curated, that's where you can go to check out some really great brushes. And they're affordable even. So we're gonna use a lot of water. We want it like milky consistency or ink-like consistency. Not as thin as water, a little bit thicker than water. And then we take a heavy-handed brush. And then I always move things out of the way. If you have a Coach purse, you don't want that sitting next to where you're spattering. I have spattered my leather shoes with white spatter dots because they fell down to the ground. And actually thankfully I'm spattering in black today. I have black boots on. Okay, so we're gonna test off over here. Just tap off the excess. And then I'm going to spatter in the direction of my arch and the shape of my board. So I want to, a little bit more. And then I'll turn this. And then as my spatters get small, I want them a little bit bigger. So as they get small, I'll just reload. Okay, now we're gonna let this dry and I'll show you how I would finish it as far as varnishing or waxing. In my head, we have 3 options to finish. You can do a DuraClear matte varnish. You don't have to do anything at all. This is gonna be used inside and your house isn't rough and tumble, you don't have all the kids like I had when my guys were growing up, I would varnish with like 3 coats if I had my boys. But if you need something durable, then the DuraClear matte finish. And then wax is actually one of the hardest surfaces, finished surfaces. So this is a really durable one too. And these we use natural and we use special dark. And I'll show you what they look like. We would keep a sponge in there. I'm gonna get a fake glove. I keep fold top sandwich bags in the ready for a temporary glove. These are petroleum based. That's how dark that is. And in this case, I think I would choose the dark. And then this is how light that one is. They're a little stinky, so you want to use them in a ventilated place and let them dry elsewhere. Okay, so you're just going to twist that in your surface. Oh, if I was applying the DuraClear, I would use the oval glaze brush. This is an amazing brush. It doesn't have streak marks. I would not use a foam brush. I don't think that they leave it streak free enough. This has leveling stuff in it, so it should self-level, but if you give it too many bumps, then it's not gonna do the job right. This, because it's on the sponge, is going to be easy. Okay, so I just go right over everything. And you can see how that just became a little bit darker. It's not a tremendous amount, just enough to make it just warmer. You let this dry and then buff it out with the paper towel. Don't forget your edges. A waxed surface feels so good. We have a retail store here in town, and people will walk through and touch things, and you can always tell. They always slow down when they hit a waxed surface. They know the difference just intrinsically. Here is the finished product. Doesn't that look so fantastic for a $3 surface? You can reuse your stencils over and over. Make sure you check out StudioR12.com. Subscribe and ring the bell if you like this content. Give us a thumbs up, and then make sure to check us out on Facebook as well.